Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the Amazing Super Chris. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. My sports ball team won. I hope your sports ball team won, of course. Good morning, Trina. I want to say hello to everyone this morning who is watching. Look at the trees. Good morning, all you wonderful people so far. Trina, thank you. And we're also streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We're doing the thing at all the places. So I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and you all sinned safely, my friends. Trina says, good morning. I'm getting ready for work, so I can't stay long. The sun is shining and it's a beautiful morning. It's a beautiful morning. There we go. Look at the trees. Reality Too Ridiculous. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Chris and friends. Just heading off to work. We'll be listening in the truck. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Larry Scar, good morning. Larry Scar says, this weekend, sin was all blasphemy while putting on snow tires. There you go. I understand and feel that. I do. Miles London, interesting name. First time viewer here from Truth Wanted. Good morning. Thank you. You know, I had such a wonderful time last week on Truth Wanted. It was fantastic. I planned on talking about this morning. I do. I've got some new things we're kind of working on. I've got new commercials coming. I'm going to start recording some of those. Hey, wait till you guys get the load of my new commercials. More products for the Father Flanagan's line of products. You're gonna love that. And then also, I'm working on the top 10 reasons. Don't tell me I forgot already. I know this one. Top 10 reasons. Damn it, Chris. I get so many in my head. Okay, so I've already scripted out episode 14 of the Evil God Monster of Abraham series. So I'm going to be working on that this week and drop it this weekend. And I'm also working on the top 10 contradictions about Jesus in the Bible. That's what the top 10, so I'm working on that. I will drop that video this week as well. So, and guys, I really did, back to that before I forget, I really had a good time over on Truth Wanted. Kelly, if you're not familiar with Kelly Laughlin, he was a wonderful host, very generous, made it easy for me. All I had to do is show up and talk, which is so fantastic. And then they also have people in the background, lurkers, like lurking. They were lurking, watching, waiting for us to make. No, they were fantastic. But over at the Atheist Experience at ACA, Truth Wanted, they have a wonderful staff of people working in the background to make sure I sound good, look good. The only thing they can't do is keep me from sounding stupid. Only I can do that. I think I did pretty good. It was a fun show. And then we did the after party and had a good time on there. I'm hoping, we actually had Dane Darklight he called in on the show. A couple other people called in, but Dane specifically called in from here. It was nice to see people showing up from our show over there. It was really nice. Sandy, good morning. Nice to see you. Mike London. Okay, yes. Miles London. Thank you. I like that better. Miles is better. Mark, good morning, Mark. Greetings and salutations. Thank you for joining us this morning. James Corletta. Yeah, great job on Truth Wanted. Thank you, James. Nice to have you. If you guys aren't subscribed, check this out, my friends. Peep this, my homies. Mira, mis amigos. All right, come on now. Check this out. Look at us, guys. Look at us. We have done this thing. All right, go back to here real quick. Main. And now share the screen. Okay, so we hit 2,000 subscribers just a little over a month ago. And I have gained almost 60 subscribers, my friends. I dropped a video. Of course, the video's gained its own subscribers, but just since Truth Wanted, I gained 15 or 16 subscribers just during the show. It was fantastic. And then, since then we're almost to 2,800. I should break 2,800 subscribers any second now. And then of course the next mark is 29 and then 3,000. That's 3,000 is where we're going. I just like to count everyone because the last time I did the Daily Atheist Morning Show, I tell you friends, this March took so long. But this time it's going really well. The channel is growing really fast, and it's fantastic. I've made a lot of new friends, and it's just wonderful. So good morning, Ember. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Ember says, yeah, the way you dismantled that second or third caller, and yeah, in a cherry way was epic. You know, that was true. I had a lot of fun. I was a little worried at first as we were going on because we got that one caller where he was talking about how God spoke to him and told him certain things or whatever, and how God cured his mom or wife's cancer and or you know, whatever his claim was. And I'm like, dude, really? Your God loves you. Of all the people, he didn't even talk to the mother of his child. He sent an angel to speak to her. He didn't talk to Muhammad. He sent an angel to speak to Muhammad, yet he spoke to you. And this is right after telling the guy, you know, you should feel better about yourself. Because he opens up going, you know, when we were kids, we were kind of abused, but we deserved it. And there's our 2,800 subscriber. Good morning, Miles. Thank you for subscribing. You are 2,800. Woohoo. There we go. Let's see. 2,800. We are on the way to conquering the world. Okay, so anyway, he opens his story by going, I'm kind of low and I suck. Clearly I suck. I deserve what I got because I suck. And I opened my thing by going, dude, you don't suck. You need to believe more in yourself. And then I'm like, wait a second though, but who are you? And I started getting on to him about being a narcissist and, who do you think you are that God loves you and will talk to you? And as I'm going off on this guy, which is kind of like my normal stint, I usually do it to people on the stream, not, on a phone call, but I was doing it and I thought, I'm going to get in trouble. The ACAs, talk, Truth Wanted, they're going to, and then Kelly came on and he just picked up where I was and left off and just kept going on the guy. And I was like, all right, I'm in the right place. Yeah. We had a good time. It was fun. Yo, what? Good morning, yo, what? Nice to see you. Says, I'm new here. I'm excited about it. Me too. I'm not new here, but I am excited about it. I would show you, but that's only for the OnlyFans people. Stream Elements. Why are you even there? I use Streamlabs. I don't use Streamlabs. Anyway, I used to. Anyway, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Again, I hope you send it safely. Ember says, I just crossed 1,900 this weekend, finally growing again. Ember, that's one. You're able to drop links, Ember. If you don't mind, feel free to drop a link to your channel. And, anybody who'd like to go over there and subscribe to your stuff, feel free. Ember's awesome. So just cruising here to make sure. I want to do this thing. I want to say hello to all of our new friends with a commercial because, in case you haven't heard, we're running a sale on Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys.
Is your humble parish tired of constant litigation, drained by bloodthirsty lawyers sucking the collection plate dry? Well, finally, no more threats of jail time and public humiliation. Try Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys. Cute little fellas, eyes and mouth wide with surprise, complete with lifelike tears. Father Flanagan's line of inflatable altar boys, coming to a Walmart near you.
I'm a blasphemer. Okay, so for those of you who are new, I thought you might appreciate that. Some of you may be appreciating that. Some of you may be clutching your pearls. That's the newest commercial in the list. If you're new to the channel, and I appreciate you all for joining up, new people and old people, let me just kind of give a brief story. If you're new to the channel, I fired up the Daily Atheist morning show back in 2019, and I worked it until 2020, and I just kind of burned out, and I let it sit there. I didn't do any shows. I didn't drop any content till about 3.5 months ago. And I fired up the channel. I had 1,300 subscribers. And it took a little while to get things going, but then I got things going. I built it back up, and now we're having fun. It's been so much more fun than it was before. But during the time, I used to have, we had commercials. Andy Hall, he's a friend of mine. We created these funny commercials for the show, so occasionally you'll see them. I'm just now getting to where I'm developing new commercials because the old ones, although they are awesome, they kind of wear on you after a while. So, Yo What says, I was an altar boy, but I probably wasn't good looking enough because that's fucked up. He said that right here on the show. Yeah. There you go. Amber dropped a link. So good morning, Nomad. Thank you for joining us. And then left-handed Jedi. It looks like, is that who it is? Lurking in the dark blue? It's left-handed Jedi. Good morning. You're the one in dark blue today, so I'll try to, heroes of the show know what we mean. So thank you all and welcome. So today we're going to be talking briefly, I say briefly, that's what the show's about, title of the show, about abortion in the Bible. Now, Christians don't like the whole abortion angle, right? But we've discussed and discussed it. We beat it like a dirty rug right here on the channel for the past few weeks. We've been on, we have ridden the abortion topic like Seabiscuit. Okay. But Christians are always against it. And in the Bible, it actually gives instructions on how to perform an abortion. And it's referred to the bitter water, Numbers 5, if you'd like to go look it up. Okay. So for those Christians out there who don't like abortion, remember the Bible actually gives instructions to Moses, of all people, right? To Moses on how to, cause an unborn fetus that was not put there by the woman's husband to become unalived. That's a very cool way of saying it. YouTube makes us jump through new hoops. Our brains are going to be expanded in our vocabulary area from avoiding all those words. But you know what I'm saying? So that's the assertion is that the priest can give the woman some of this bitter water, and if she has been infidelis, I like infidelis better. If she's had a nookie with another man, or men, depending on how freaky deaky she was back in the day, then in that case, if the fetus was from one of them, then it would perish. Okay. So, of course, back in the day, it was like a lot of, raping, pillaging, plundering, that sort of thing, taking the wives and females. So you never knew what happened. Anyway, so to make sure, all right, so here's the deal, though. We, my friends, good morning, theoretically. Thank you for joining us. Let me catch up. It was great to hear you in Truth Wanted, and I'm interested in everything you have to say. Thank you very much. Also, hey, you know what? I over on Truth Wanted, I have fun, but it's not my show. I have to, there's like political rules and stuff like that. We, have to play by their rules, and I love their rules. They're fantastic. I'm a little probably cruder here than you may have experienced me over there. I do talk about touching my dick a lot because, if you had it, you would. I'm just so thank you for joining us. Just be prepared. Good morning, Saint G. Thank you for joining us. I'm working on TikTok. It's just TikTok doesn't like me. It did love me when I first started streaming to TikTok, but now it doesn't love me anymore. I don't know why. I stream to it. It says a lot of people joined. I don't know. Look, I'll show you guys. Check this out. If you're watching on TikTok, look what happens if you can see it. It just sits here and says, this person joined, and it keeps on going over. This person joined, this person joined, this person joined, but a total viewers of 15. It just never changes. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if it works over or not. Nobody talks. Nobody says anything. I don't get any subscribers from it. I don't know. But when it says creators must be 18 or over. Oh, that's me. That's okay. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know. No say. Je ne sais pas. You didn't know I spoke German, did you? All right. So, yeah, thank you to everybody who found me over on Truth Wanted. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get on there. A call-in show this show, I do this all by myself. Me and my dogs. They do all the technical work. I just sit in here and talk. So it's but like hosting people and all that business and taking calls, that's a lot of work and a lot of effort. It does really kind of take a team of people. And in case you're also new to us, we have the puppy cam. Currently, Daisy, our sound engineer, is down in the puppy cam area. There's Daisy. And of course, Ollie's over here. He likes sitting by the heater. He gets his butt up to it, and then he blocks off the ventilation to the heater, and it overheats and it stops working. Oh, I see. Sang Ji says, I saw Planet Peterson got banned for being crass with a guest on TikTok. I hadn't heard that. Drew Johnson says, why are you so passionate about atheism? That's a great question. I appreciate that question. And Drew, it's been a day or two since somebody's asked it. All right, to be honest, it's actually been more like minutes since I've addressed it. I addressed it in my chat. But I appreciate the way you phrase it. Why are you so passionate about atheism? Other times they phrase it like, if you don't believe in God, then why are you so passionate about Christianity? Is usually kind of how it comes out. So I appreciate your phrasing. I'd like to say that the reason why I'm so passionate about my atheism is because the religions around us are oppressing us with their faith. They're making our women go by their rules and their dogmas. They're trying to impose their Bible and their 10 Commandments on our children in schools and on our money in our hands. They are imposing their faith on us. It's not that I'm passionate about atheism. I'm passionate about not being oppressed by Christianity. That's kind of what really, that's a lot. If you see a talking head, that's kind of the basis, I think, of most of us. It's not that we're passionate about atheism. It's just that, man, there needs to be a light shined on this stuff, and then Christians often go, why do you get so hateful and ugly about Christianity? And I'm like, wait a second, you've been oppressing people, literally unaliving them in the most horrific ways, Christians. And now you're doing all these things and we're supposed to struggle politely? Oh, I'm sorry. Please stop stepping on my rights. No, fuck that. There's no more of this tolerant left, just kind of saying. Not that I want to go there. I'm just saying, throwing out a lot of different things, explaining the whether tos and why fors of what was going on. I kneel only for Yahweh says. Now, I just want to mention, I noticed you're throwing a lot of scriptures out there. I haven't really gone over it yet in my brain pan, but we don't like preaching, man. If you're going to preach, go somewhere else. There's lots of channels out there. If you want to debate religion and talk about your book of death, whatever, fine. But don't be all preaching. Let me go here and see what you had to say, though. In whom the gods of this world have binded the minds of them. Yeah, okay. Got no time for that. Thank you. Okay, now you're just, I'll let my mods handle you. You're just preaching. I'll read other people's stuff. Drew Johnson says, do you have a favorite and least favorite global religion? Ooh, that's a tough one. Mr. Split, thank you for joining us. That's a name I don't recognize. KCA Randy, thank you for joining us. I'll get back to that question. Pavel D, thank you for joining us again this morning. You guys are all wonderful. Okay, there was a question raised by Drew. Do I have a favorite or least favorite global religion? I don't know. I have my least favorite religion would be Islam, I think. Yeah. My most favorite religion. I mean, my most favorite religion. Oh, okay. I got this. I know this one. Jediism. Yeah. Look it up. It's a thing. If I had to support any one of them, if somebody's going to pull my fingernails off and force me to subscribe to any religion, well, it's just as valid as the rest of them. So, JT, howdy, good morning, JT. Thank you for joining us. Book of Death, Jesus Christ is the light of the world. Hey, man, I'll tell you what, I kneel only for Yahweh. I appreciate you stopping by. Clearly, you're a person of the cloth. In the video description, or in my videos, there's a series of videos. Go to my YouTube page. There's a series of videos called Christianity's Shame. I'm sure you're going to love it. Actually, maybe it's even called The Evil God Monster of Abraham. Go check it out. Go watch my top 10 reasons why Christianity is a blood cult. Go watch my video, Top 10 Reasons Why Christianity, the God of Christianity, is actually more like a pit demon. Go check that one out. I think you're going to find those very interesting. I use scriptures. You'll find it fun. Your cognitive dissonance, you probably block it out or something, but pick it up. Check it out. Mr. Split, atheism is a religion, just like bald is a hairstyle. Sandy, good morning. Lost your email along with other Spectrum customers. Oh, God. Can't hear that. Sorry to hear that. I can hear that. Sorry to hear that. Jay Jones, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Man, such lovely people showing up this morning. So here's my thoughts. So I want to visit for a moment about this whole notion of the bitter waters. Pardon me, I got the damn phone. All right, so in the bitter waters, it's essentially, I'll break it down for you. Pretty much the deal is, if a woman has been unfaithful to her husband and she's become pregnant, then when they give her the bitter waters, it will cause her fetus to, her abdomen to swell and the fetus to become unalived. An abortion, pretty much. So here's two things we got to know about this. One is this potion is based on like some sort of fidelity. How can they know? How can the potion know who the father is, let alone which father actually is literally betrothed to the woman? It cannot. It cannot know that. Can't. And whenever you read about how they got the potion, it's like mix a little bit of holy water with a little bit of dirt from the temple. They don't even get like spit from the real father or anything, to where they could claim it was early genetics. No, something simple like that. So with that, you've got two outcomes. Either, since it can't tell whether the fetus is real, either the potion doesn't work ever because it doesn't work, right? It's just dirt water, Pepsi. I'm funny, some bitch. Or it works every time. And no matter, even if the woman was true to her husband and has not sinned and has not been with another man, it's going to cause an abortion. Okay. Does that make sense? Everybody agree that, based on science, there's no way that it could tell who the father was. And since it couldn't tell, it would only really matter on the efficacy of what was in the bitter water. So if it was something that would cause an abortion, it would do it every time. Maybe not every time, it depends on, you know what I mean? But like, that's what it would do. If it doesn't, then it wouldn't. See? Make sense? It wouldn't. And since that's the situation, I'm sorry, Daisy, did that hit you on the head? I hope it didn't break my phone. Yeah, I talk to my dogs like that. So if it doesn't, then every woman will be okay. And there won't, here's the deal though. If it does, here's the deal. Here's the hard part that a lot of people, we just sort of stop at that. Okay, so for the women that it actually does cause an abortion to, the fetus to become unalived, whatever phrasing you'd like to use. In that instance, if that happens, as we know it, regardless, clearly we know the science tells us that it won't know. Then what happens to an unfaithful wife in the Old Testament? Well, it's not just that she has an abortion. It's not just that she goes through the pain of her stomach swelling, etc., and then losing the fetus. What happens to her? Now they have, according to their own Bible, according to their own thoughts, they have verifiable proof that she has had coitus with a man other than her husband. Okay? What happens to that woman? I'm going to reach out to the people in the chat to see anybody in the chat. Do you know in the chat? All right. Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Everybody knows. They unalive her with rocks. That's what happens. Or other fashions, but they unalive her, essentially, is the deal. So in other words, if a woman is caught in the Old Testament, especially in the Old Testament, being unfaithful to her husband, what is the punishment for that? We know what the punishment for that is. If they give them this bitter water, we as scientists know that if it works ever, it works probably always. Whether it's really so even if a man just is like mad at his wife, knows he's the only one, takes her up there and they give her this bitter water and she aborts, then he has the right to unalive her. You see where I'm going with this? So it could be a torment. No women, all women, or any woman who's brought before that is going to be found guilty. Any woman who's given the bitter water will be found guilty and then should, based on their own rules, become unalived in a most horrific fashion, right? Not being blinked out of existence or none of that business, because that would be like merciful. So, or it could be that the priests knew it didn't work and it was actually kind of a mercy. Yeah, he's accusing you of something. Let's give you this bitter water. Oh, no, you didn't cause your fetus to become unalive? Well, sir, clearly the Lord has blessed this child for you and it's yours. So, by those notions, by that thinking, it sure sounds to me like it could be either or. A mercy or, a torture. A way of, unaliving someone you didn't like of a fashion. So let me check it back to theoretically says, what a cruel, superstitious practice. Basically like the Inquisition. Yeah. Well, again, it kind of depended. It depends on what they knew, I think. If it worked and it did cause the fetus to become unalive, then the woman also had to be persecuted. They had to be, just the way the Old Testament worked, right? But if it didn't work, then it didn't work. And the priest almost certainly would kind of know that. I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt and think it was in a way a mercy, that it really was just water mixed with some dirt from the temple and given to the woman. And if something's wrong with her, now did somebody say bacteria? And there could be bacteria in the dirt sample or whatever that could cause problems. Any number of reasons. They lived in a most unsanitary way back then compared to how we live now. So even if she just went through a normal life and she somehow got ill and caused the child, through malnutrition or any other reason after drinking the bitter water, then you could reach the same conclusion. They potentially could reach the same conclusion. Nomad says, if it didn't work, she was probably a witch. That was a little early for that, but I appreciate where your mind's going. Anthony, thank you for joining us this morning. He says, is the woman being given the bitter water actually pregnant? That's the theory in the story. I mean, yeah, they would be pregnant. Brought before the temple, made to swear, and then given the bitter water, and then they kind of, I guess, sit around and wait and watch. Let me catch up here in the chat. Nicole Spartan, thank you for joining us this morning. You got censored. Watch that, censors. Watch that, Sandy. She uses the D word. Sorry, it's a program. Dirt floor is going to cause book yourself to death bacteria. Sometimes not. Rock yourself. Poop yourself is what. Larry, all right. Thank you for the test. I got you. Larry Johnson, Drew Johnson says, sorry, I'm a little late to the stream. Where's the bitter water thing coming from? I don't know the context. Awesome. Okay. Well, here's the deal. We've been talking over the past few weeks about abortion off and on. It's not like that's all we talk about. It's just kind of one of the things. And the reason why we're talking about it is because of the Christian nationalist movement to try to impose their dogmas on everybody's women, regardless of whether they're Christians or not. Right? The abortion topic. And a lot of these Christians are like, life starts at conception, or all this other stuff. And that abortion is sacred and it shouldn't be done. And yet here in the Bible literally is a priest giving Moses instructions on how to give women the bitter waters to determine if their baby that's in their belly was put there by the husband or not. If the belly swells and the child is lost, then it is presumed that the bitter waters caused that because it was not her husband's child. And then what happens? What would happen after that in the Old Testament to a woman they've got evidence, the husband, she would almost certainly be unalived in a most horrific fashion. So either we know in modern day society that they could not have had a way of giving her anything to drink that would have been able to determine the father of her child and then unalive that child. If we know that's not possible. So either they were giving them a drink that did nothing or a drink that caused abortions. But either way, in the Bible, they were giving instructions as to how to do it. And that's contradictory to many Christians who are trying to impose their beliefs now. And that's one of the reasons why we're kind of going over it. Gotcha. And we've had a swelling. I appreciate you, Drew Johnson. Drew says, got you. Thank you for the catch up. We've actually had a little bit of our channel has been growing. People have been showing up. So that recap probably helped several people. They're like, why are they talking about this? Well, that's why. And I was kind of, sometimes we have these Christian antagonists who come in and they want to argue and debate their points and yell and call names. I even have a video about how they'll often come in and attack me rather than actually my suggestions, my ideas. My video series, I'll drop a video and it's all based on the Bible, guys, have you seen? You should watch my latest episode of the Evil God Monster of Abraham series. I dropped it Saturday. I'll post a link for funs, kicks and giggles, as it were. And if you get the chance, you should go look at the comments on that one. They're they're funny in a hateful kind of way. Let me go here, shareable link. I'll drop this video to you. Good morning, Jesse Bear. Thank you for joining us, man. I really like you. You're fun. You're always fun. I say so says I. I've got the short-term memory of a gnat. For all I know, you're a jerk. You're all right, Jesse. Good morning, Jesse. All right, so there's the link. If you don't, if you can't get the chance to go over there and look at the comments. They do tend to be, ugly. Some of them are not bad. Most of them are kind of, But the whole deal where they come in and they just attack me. Blah, 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 like little demons. And the ones that come in trying to justify Christianity using slavery, that was anyway, that's odd. Sandy says, I expect the religious folks saying they're pro-life, but when non-theists also they are, then with them on the A issue, I get very discouraged. Yes. But when non-theists also say they are with them on the issue, they get very, yeah. There's a lot of flip-flopping back by the theists, back and forth. It seems like a lot of, especially right-wing MAGA, full-blown right-wing conservative people, it's almost like they're instructed to take the most horrific option, the most culturally wrong option they'll always choose. Do you want to help feed the poor? No, let's charge the poor for being poor. Right? Good morning, Flute Whistle. Thank you for joining us. That's an interesting name. I don't think I've seen that. Well, I mean, I've seen it. Yeah, there's a joke coming to mind, but I'm going to keep that to myself. Flute Whistle. Yes, and some of them were people I called friends. Yeah, that was kind of bothersome how they switched. You guys are wonderful. I'm going to go over here. I do indeed have a poll going on today, as we usually have polls. I should have made it about the whole abortion topic, but I was I had a thing going on. So there is, I think, one going here. Let me see here. A trap. Obviously, was the bitter water mercy or a trap? If it worked, all women were guilty. If not, all are innocent. That's true. So that's kind of that. So far, 91% of our people have voted for the trap. So that would mean that somehow they had figured, and it's certainly possible, right? Certainly possible. Like microdosing hemlock, for example, might cause just I am not a guy, right? Who knows that sort of thing? I'm just throwing ideas out there. They may have found a way to cause women to lose to have their belly swell and lose their, but again, if they did, it was going to happen every time. I would, I just cannot, I can't see how we could do it today without a lot of really serious DNA work. And all they did was some simple thing. So far, 91% of the people think it was a trap. 9% think it was a mercy. And it could have been both. Could have been really just depending on who was making the potion, how they felt about things. Maybe, the efficacy, the levels of whatever they were using. I don't know. Just it definitely seems like a trap for women, for sure. Especially if the potion worked. Guess what? Bob took his old lady down there, and clearly she was cheating because they gave her the stuff, and within a day, her belly swelled and her thighs wasted away because, she used to have this big, sexy ass, and then her thighs wasted away. I ain't kidding you guys. Go look away. It says thighs waste away too. And that would automatically mean that she had had an affair with someone else. Or whatever. And that makes, it's just a violent end for these people. I see. Oh, let me see here. Mr. Split. I'm just trying to catch up here. Looks like there's a fun conversation. Hola, chat. Hello, Amy Nicole Cervantes. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Look at us. Are we getting another? Yes. Thank you, Delilah Scissors. I like that. That's cute. Thank you. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. All right. Let me look around here and back to my poll. I got distracted. I got so distracted. In our poll, the question thus is, here's a good, all right, peep this, my homies. Check this out. If God is Jesus's father, how can Jesus be considered a descendant of King David? Right? I mean, if Joseph never did the thing at the place, right? That was crude. I'm sorry. I should have done this. If Joseph never did this with Mary, then how could Jesus be considered a descendant of David? Interesting thoughts. So we've got so far before. Let me refresh the page. At the time I did this earlier, we had 17 votes. Let's see how many votes we have at this point. I'll post a link too so you can vote. Oh, 23 votes. Look at you guys being voting food. There we go. All right, so the link should arise when you get the chance. If you don't mind, go over there. Don't leave the channel. But when you get a chance, go vote. Number 1 on our list, through Mary's lineage, though it's not stated in the Bible. So Joseph, you're not the father. Mary, you are the father. Deal. I get it. Through Joseph's lineage, even though Joseph wasn't his father. I think I saw a chat person say he was adopted. If Jesus was adopted, then the whole notion of blood is out the freaking window. He was supposed to be of the blood. The whole thing, the whole, everything from top to bottom is about the blood. The blood, the descendant, his lineage, who he is, where he came from, how he's related to Adam, how he's the power that came down through Adam, through Noah, blah, blah, blah. But if he's, through David, obviously, so if he's not the son of Joseph, interesting thoughts there. Okay, so the next option is it's symbolic, not literal. Okay, that's option number 3. And then it doesn't make sense at all is option number 4. So far, it doesn't make sense at all is leading by 65%. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. And as I was going over and working on my top 10 contradictions to Jesus' story in the Bible, that was part of my thinking. A lot of it just doesn't make sense. It's hard to imagine how so many people still believe based on the text of the New Testament because it's so contradictory. In one book, Jesus goes to the left, and the other book, Jesus goes to the right. In one book, Jesus was born in Nazareth. In another book, he was born in Galilee. In another book, he did this. In another book, he did that. All mutually exclusive. And yet, and I really like the one where they try to jam him in prophecies in the Old Testament. Like they cried out, and we will name him Emmanuel. Wait. It's supposed to be Jesus, not Emmanuel. Why? It's funny. All those times where they try to jam Jesus into the prophecies of the Old Testament. I did a whole video on it a long time ago. It was hilarious. They jumped through a lot of hoops. They take the first names, or they take the names of all the people in the Bible, starting with Adam and working their way down, Adam to Noah, to begin with. And they're like, all right, so this name means man, and this name means something else, and this man means something else. And and the names were like, you shit unholy child. So a man came from a shit unholy child. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but that's what I got to pull up the video just to defend myself now. All right, here we go. Channel content. You think I'm lying? I ain't lying. I wasn't lying in front of God and everybody. Let me see if I can find the video real quick. Anybody know what the video was called? All right, let's try this. Quickie? No. I've got so many videos. Oh, well, I'll have to come back to that. I'll look that up once I remember what it was. Yes. I know I've got a good video on here about that. I'm old, though, and I keep forgetting shit. So anyway, let me catch up and see what's going on here. Drew Johnson, that's a great question. Sang-Ji, okay. Sang-Ji must have spouted some knowledge over there. Oh, sorry, Daisy. I didn't mean to kick you. Sorry. Let me go here. Larry Score, magical book. I'll keep looking for that. Nicole, I am an alien hybrid. Mr. Dad, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I hope you had a great week. Guys, I don't know if you saw it, but I was on Truth Wanted this past weekend. I had a blast. It was Friday night. I was alone and scared. But they were really nice. It was fun. I wasn't alone. There's a lot more people there. I'm alone now. No, there was a lot of people there. It was a really great show. They made it wonderful. We had some callers. Dane Darklight called on the show. He's even done response videos. on his channel. So Dan Darklight, we had a couple other callers call in. It was very interesting, and I'm looking forward to hopefully being on the show again. So they've actually got several shows over there, and I'd like to be on, any of them. Looking forward to them. And I've already reached out to the line again, or did I? I was going to. Yes, well, I was in the line's chat yesterday. I was like, hey, how are you doing? And so I'm going to send them another hate mail and go, hey, guys, can I come over and play with you guys too? I'd love to get on the line. So let me catch up on our chat here. Okay, so AR, good morning, AR. Thank you for joining. It says the bitter water was definitely a trap to get women to admit to infidelity. That's a good point. There you go. The Is Throw show. Your thoughts on Islam? Yeah, I got some thoughts on Islam. Part of the reason why I don't talk about Islam so much is because Islam is far away from our concerns here, only because it's not, we got concerns here about Christianity that's imposing itself upon us that we have to address immediately. Islam is kind of far away. If you ask me which one was the more unfortunate theology, I would say Islam. So, but we just don't usually talk about it so much because we got our own things going on. But feel free to ask any questions in the chat. Is Throw show. I'd like to know your thoughts. I'd like to know your thoughts on Islam. In fact, Mark says, I love when Aaron is on the line. Yeah, Aaron Raw. Hey, guys, I want to, it's good. It's just not going to happen in time. Let me play a little commercial here for those of you who are new to the thing. I've been wanting to reach out to Aaron Raw, to Seth Andrews, and to Matt Dillahunty to see if they want to help me create an updated Christmas commercial, but I just haven't done it yet. Check this out.
Hello all, Chris Mallard here, atheist extraordinaire, host of the Daily Atheist Morning Show, and currently burning in hell. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not dead. I'm just down here for the annual Christmas party. I mean, annual solstice awards party. The Dark One, or Lucy as he is affectionately known, is personally handing out the awards. Aaron Ra is getting the award for the most souls brought down by evolution for his African fossil hunt, and Matt Dillahunty has won the Golden Phallus Award for being a dick to the most Christians. Oh wait. It's the Golden Fallacy Award for the confusing the most Christians. Easy mistake to make. To top it off, Seth Andrews has lent his voice to the Gregorian chants this year. It's delightfully hellish. Gotta run. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving, if you're into that sort of thing, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. A happy holidays, happy solstice, and a happy new year. Stay safe, heathens. Party hard, fornicate, that sort of thing. But do it safely.
Yeah, so fun for the whole family. Let's see here. I was still trying to find that other video. It's fun, though. When we do have a Christian, I do see we have a theist in the chat. Mr. Split, I believe. Nice to have you. I see you're here to try to save our souls. It's nice. We appreciate that, some of us. While you're here, we'll try to save your life. See, you give away your life for a soul you don't even know you have. You harm yourself and others. You oppress people by putting your religion on them, by forcing them to live your ways for an afterlife you don't even know exists. And when you could be spending your time minding your own business and enjoying your own life. But no, your mind is clouded by that hate faith. And so, while you're here, sure, you might be able to convince us of a thing or two, but hopefully we'll be able to shine some light on you. Let's see. I see a new name, Dustin Buck. Bro, if energy is defined as energy equals base time, mass, I believe is what you mean, times the speed of light squared, and electrons have no mass, then how can electrons have an energy level equivalent to that of an electron volt? I think you're in the wrong chat for that. You need to go to the engineering classes, engineering chats. There's bound to be one of those. So if this is one of those things where because there's no electron volt, or you can't prove electron voltage or something, then that means that there's no time. And since there's no time in that means God can exist without time. Is that where you're going? Because I've heard that argument before. It's just stupid. Please don't do that in my chat. Don't be stupid in my chat. Stupid elsewhere. Don't stupid in my chat. I knew you meant mass though. Is Throw show says Islam is the only religion which shows the purpose of life, morality. And one more question: how can everything be so perfect, and how can everything come from nothing? Man, that's a lot. You too should come back to our show and continue watching, because Islam is very far away from showing the purpose of life. Islam is unfortunate. It really is. And it's I don't want to get onto it too much here. You know, I don't want to be small and call your religion names or any of that business. It's just that, you know, you make claims they can't back up. It's how many people have been unalived in the name of Muhammad? Just for drawing his picture, by the way. Just for drawing his picture. Go write me down a list of how perfect and loving your God is. Go away with that shit. I don't need that right now. So I can't answer the question, but you make the accusation that I'm stupid, says Dustin Buck. Why am I supposed to answer the question? Am I supposed to know something about... All right, so let me check this out. If energy is defined as energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, and electrons have no mass, then how can electrons have an energy level equivalent to that of an electron volt? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that kind of math. Do electrons have mass? I believe they do, in fact. Yes. The answer to that question, my friend, is yes. And I've taken seconds to blow up your entire premise. Seconds. All you have to do is, yes, they do have mass, although it is extremely small. What the hell would you expect it to be? But it's there. So now that electrons have mass, you can carry yourself away and consider yourself dumb. I didn't say you were stupid. I said the idea was stupid. And you pressed it. And I had to just prove you wrong. I would merely appreciate it in the realm of respect, mutual, and just common decency if you didn't assume that I was having some kind of agenda by asking the question. Okay, I get that. I appreciate that. And the reason why I say that is because I've heard that question before. So where were you going with it before I proved your question wrong? What was the purpose of the question? Were you trying to find out if I'm some kind of math person, or why did you ask? Buck? I'd like to know. I could be wrong, man. Sometimes I'm a jerk. Sometimes you get used to people attacking you, so you're prepared for the attack. And I was prepared. So I'd like to know where you were going. You were going to argue somehow that since mass has no electron, mass, electrons have no mass, then there's no time involved because of something, right? Because there's no mass, that means it doesn't experience time. So they exist, yet they don't experience time because time is wrapped up in mass, and therefore your God can exist outside of time. Is that where you're going with that? Am I right? Or did you just leave the channel? It's an interesting question. Yes. Well, I mean, I answered it. I want to take your question. Yeah, I want to take your question. And I want to ask it to ChatGPT. Oh, there it is. Ah, damn it. It rolled up before I could get it. Son of the bitch. Is it over here? Because, you know, I suspect I know where you're going with that. And if I get there in time, I can find it and I can ask the Chat GPT, like, what religious nonsense is this and where do you think they were headed? But, you know, to be honest, you need to do electrons have mass or do they not have mass? Because you've argued both ways now. I didn't argue both ways. I did not argue both ways. I went to the internet, dude. Can you not read it on the screen? Look at your internet right here. Look at the screen. Go ask. Department of Energy says, how do electrons have mass? There you go. If they have no volume. Go answer these questions, dude. Don't come in here with your nonsense. They do have mass. You know, they do. So you go work that out yourself. They have mass. Nowhere outside of your religious or somebody's religious arguments are you going to find that they don't have mass to some point that it makes a difference and somehow God is relative. Okay. So I appreciate you. And again, we do sometimes get attacked. There's often a lot of it. So if I'm being a little more aggressive than normal than you would expect it, I apologize. But, you know, again, where were you going with that? What's your point? What's your point? It was an interesting question until I proved it wrong. There was a flaw in the question. I don't know, dude. Dustin Buck, you're right. No, that's okay. I get you. That's not the first time you've been asked that question about massless electrons, yes or no. Yeah, that's not the first time. No, I've been asked something similar as best as I can remember. Somebody asked me that. And where were you going with it before I proved you wrong? Where were you going with it? You don't want to talk about that. All you say now is it's an interesting question. Where were you going? Because I know where the last guy went, and I already told you where he went. Because there's no mass in there, because it doesn't experience time, we can say God lives outside of time or some business like that, right? So where were you going with it, brother? I mean, don't shy away. You asked the question, and the question was wrong, and I proved you wrong. Science did that. Where were you going, though? What were you going to say if I said, oh, mass and this doesn't exist? I already admitted I'm not like a scientist or none of that business. So if I said one time, some shit time a long time ago, somehow mass doesn't equal electrons, I don't think I would ever say an electron doesn't have mass. I don't think I would ever say that. You're avoiding the question. I answered your question. Buck says you took the time to examine it and then you made a special notes. Also addendum the fact that you've also been asked that in the past. So it's not a stupid question. All right, it's not a stupid question. What's your point? The question was wrong. It was inaccurate. I actually did prove it literally was a stupid question. It literally was stupid in that it was an inaccurate question based on inaccurate information. So why don't you tell me where you were going with it? What was your point? Do you not want to talk about what your point was? Why don't you want to talk about your point? Well, we know why, don't we? Me and you know why. Because yes, I have been asked the question before. And I knew where you were going. And I blew it right out the water. So I'm sorry if you don't like the answer. And now you think because I called it a stupid question, you're going to obfuscate. Here you go, Buck. No, you're not actually answering anything. I did answer. All right, I'm not going to sit here and do this with you. I'm not going to let you take up my show. Your question was, since electrons have no mass, I proved to you that they have that as best as I possibly could, dude. Just open up your internet and go to somewhere sciencey and find out they do. And that blows up your question. End of fucking question. You don't get to question me about it. You don't get to do none of those things. What happens at this point is you just continue to prove your own ignorance in your chat. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever you want to say now. You've lost me and it like you had my attention, but now you ain't gonna answer the question, are you? Where were you gonna say? What's the point of electrons not having no mass or volume? What's the point? Where were you gonna go with that? Now, you don't care about, you're not answering the question. You're just asking more questions about the question. I've wasted enough time with you. I ain't responding to you no more. I got other shit to do. Matter of fact, I got coffee to get, guys. I'll be right back. You guys can argue with that jackass in the chat all you want to. I don't care. I got nothing to prove to somebody who don't listen. I proved your question wrong. Go work out your question. Go, oh shit, my question's wrong. You should start by doing that. Go, oh shit, my question was wrong. Go do that first, then come back. Fools. But I got a video for you.
Are you feeling the world is leaving you behind? Do you look at all the pseudoscience, rumors, and wild speculation on the internet and wonder, why can't I do that? Well, friend, you can. We can help you. We are Conspirowin. Conspirowin has a long history of helping anyone with a hidden truth. We will get your message out. The conspiracy theories you see today all started out with one person's vision. The moon landing hoax was launched by a NASA engineer whose manager didn't okay his vacation request. Conspirowin was there to help out. Christianity started out because one little girl named Mary got pregnant out of wedlock, and Conspirowin saved the day. Now, the virgin birth is accepted Catholic doctrine. You may be thinking, but my idea of the center of the earth being made of ice is far-fetched. No one's going to believe that. In a world where people believe windmills cause cancer, we say no dream is too big. Conspirowin will take your fledgling idea and feed it to our YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok operatives. And these savvy social media professionals will raise doubts with the prevailing scientific consensus. They will say no one has ever seen the planet's core except Jesus. And science is wrong all the time. That's why science has theories.
and not Jesus. Within 30 days, we guarantee you CNN will run a story on how your conspiracy theory isn't true. We will also give you 100% assurance Fox News will say your crazy idea about the Earth's core being an icy ball is true. Follow your heart. Listen to the voices no one else can hear. Team up with Conspirowin.
Okay. Good morning, Dragons in Genesis. How are you doing? Guys, if you're not subscribed to Dragons in Genesis, you really need to get over there and check it out. He's got some wonderful stuff. So electrons have mass. Buck, who is it? Who's that? Who am I talking? Dustin. Say it. Say it in the chat. Electrons have mass and that your question was flawed. Say it in the chat or I'll respond to you no more at all. Because I proved it. I did prove it. I went to the internet and I proved it right there for you. If you don't accept that answer that scientists literally gave you, you are not worth my time, dude. So say it in my chat. Say it or you're fucking out. Say it. Mass, electrons have mass, and my question was wrong. Say it or you're fucking gone. I'm not going to put up with you. I'm not going to have another Joey stalking me from everywhere to everywhere going, he's a guy doesn't know what mass is. Say it. Say it. Because I've proven it to you right here. Say it, jackass, or leave. You called me a dipshit. I'm the dipshit. I'm not the one who come into somebody else's chat, posed a flawed question, right? And then wouldn't respond. Well, come on. Do your thing, man. Did you say it? Did he say it? Skunks and junk. Good. Hello. See, that's the whole deal. That's where he's trying to go. He's trying to pin me into this thing where I agree. If electrons don't have mass, then there must be some kind of God thing. I know that's what's lying behind there. And now he's lying and saying that, he just wanted my thoughts. No, I've seen this argument before, dude. I know where you were going. Now you just continue to embarrass yourself in my chat. So I want you to say it. I want you to say that I want to look up here and make sure you didn't say it and I missed you. Electrons have mass. I showed it to you on the internet. I showed you the science. You go, electrons have mass, say it, and your question was flawed. Admit that your question was flawed. Let me see if Mr. Buck has done that or not. I don't see it. Skunks and junk, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Sometimes these people come in, they start spouting their nonsense, and I tried to answer his question at first, but then I recognized what was going on. I'm like, wait a second. You're trying to work it down to where, I was like, wait a second. You said electrons don't have mass, but they do. And I showed him on the interwebs. And yeah, he's gone. Thank you, Sandy. That's okay, though. Sometimes they like it when I get excited on the channel. Yeah, sometimes I need to chill a little bit, and but sometimes I don't. Yeah, well, I hope he rage quit. When you're wrong, when you're that wrong, go embarrass yourself in somebody else's chat. Fools. Hey, I saw somebody. Larry Scar, good morning. Cucker Charleston, thank you for joining us. You must have faith that electrons have mass. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You missed that. He should have said that one. Thank you, Skunks and Junk. You guys are awesome. Concerning the bitter water poll question, I did a video on the topic a while back. Do you have a link, Dragons in Genesis? I wouldn't mind linking up at the end of the show and letting folks go watch your video on that. I would go watch my video on that. Here was the thing. The thing I was thinking, I was going through this the other day and talking about abortion, and it kind of hit me that, well, wait a second, this bitter water thing, what happens? What happens if it works? If it works and the woman's belly swells and she loses the baby, that means she was unfaithful to her husband. And what do they do to those people back then? What do they do to those people back then? The electron mass is not included in calculating the mass number of an atom. Dude, I'm done with you. Just fuck off. The rest mass of an electron. Let me just end this, okay? The rest mass of an electron is, okay, and he goes on to quote something. An electron is therefore considered nearly massless. So you're fucking wrong, dude. You're wrong. It's got mass. Just fucking stop already. You're embarrassing yourself. Just stop. It has mass. You say it's not included in calculating the mass of an atom. I don't care what you say. I don't care if they do or not. Maybe it's so insignificant, yet still there, that they don't calculate it. That doesn't mean God. And I dare not, at one point I did this before. I did it with Joey a while back. I did this thing where I was like, all right, fine. Just for the sake of argument, it doesn't have mass. An electron doesn't have mass. Okay. Now with Joey, it was a different topic. It was about truth. But in your case, let me just say, for the sake of argument, let's say an electron doesn't have mass. What now? What happens now? Is this where you go, yay, Chris Mallard admitted electron doesn't have mass, therefore there's no time and God exists? Where are you going with this, buddy? I've been asking you where you're going with it, so fine. Your calculations are correct. What are your thoughts? That was the first thing I asked you about whenever you posted the question. What were your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Fine, I've given it to you. Now you're going to crow in my chat, yay, Chris Mallard admitted that electrons have no mass. So what? I mean, you even proved it yourself that they do. You literally went and got quotes from places that said they have mass. It's so stupid small, it's barely detectable, almost not but we knew that, right? It's a freaking electron. How much mass could it possibly have? But it does have mass, and that blows your entire argument. The rest of your entire argument is gone. Destroyed, not only by me, but by yourself. Whenever you came in here and you posed the question, or you posed your own answer saying, oh, the mass is nearly massless. It's nearly massless, but it's not massless. So, yeah, not massless. I don't even get where you're going, but I'd like to. I really want to get where you're going with this. I want to know. That's why I've even conceded, just to let you have it. Just to go, you know what, dude, that's cool, man. I'll tell you what. Electrons have no mass, despite the fact that I've proven that they have mass. You, my friend, have proven they have mass. They are nearly massless. So tell me, where are we going with this? I've given it to you. There's no mass. Yeah, I don't know. Drew, I get you. I'm not really sure. I know where they're going. There's this thing about time, because we often argue that it's really depends on, how you don't get the same answer from two Christians about what they believe. So for me to nail this down exactly, pardon me if I'm a little wrong. But here's the argument. I sometimes argue that, well, if God created the universe, then he has to be outside of our space-time. Therefore, for him, time wouldn't exist. Or he lives in his own space-time. And he made a choice one day to create our universe, and is going through his time as well as we are going through our universe in our time. And then someday he's going to close out our universe, and then he'll continue to live in his own universe. Okay. But he has to have a beginning. See, that's where this is all arguing from. They're like, well, if the universe if God didn't make the universe, how did it come from nothing? Well, how did God come from nothing? Oh, well, God was always there because he lives in this infinite nothingness, right? This nothing, time doesn't exist for him because there's no mass in electron. That proves that things can be and yet not exist in time. That's where they're going. And since that proves that, then therefore God must exist outside of time. That's where this whole argument is generally going. That makes sense? And we blow it out of the water. His very first assertion that, well, since electrons don't have mass, dude, they do have mass. Probably is exactly as much as you'd expect something that small to have. Nearly massless. You know what? Electrons are probably a poor example. You should really, really go with tachyons? No, neutrinos. Which has less mass? Which has less mass? Electrons or neutrinos? Wait a second. Oh no, you're going to have to rework your whole argument, my friend. Electrons have more mass. I mean, Electrons have more mass than neutrinos. Neutrinos are incredibly light with masses that are extremely small compared to electrons. While the mass of neutrinos is not precisely known because it's stupid small, experimental evidence suggests their mass is less than 0.12 electron volts times the speed of light squared, which is many orders of magnitude smaller than the mass of an electron. So what you need to do, what was his name again? You need to carry your ass off to a science class and learn some stuff, because electrons are a bad example. You have an even better example right there in neutrinos. And I don't know if you know this, but there are billions and billions of neutrinos passing through you right now, every second. That's how small their mass is. Almost as small as your God. Tiny, very tiny. So I don't think he ever got to explaining where in the chat there where he was going with that. But we know, well, for those of us who've experienced this before, we know where they're going. God is like God. They're trying to prove that God can exist outside of our time space because electrons don't experience time or some shit like that. But hey, you know, all it takes is some like tachyons. Tachyons are fast photons. Tachyons. The word tachyon, I think, is like speedy particle and some shit like that. So as we can see from this, I don't know if we've lost him. I mean, Spooky Bedhair, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I was smiting a believer here on the chat who tried to use that science thing. Quarks. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, the longer I sit and think about it, electrons are made of stuff. What are electrons made of? I don't know, but I know what morons are made of. Okay, it's a fundamental particle, so it's made up of itself. But there are smaller particles, clearly. I was just kind of hoping he would, you know, I mean, if you're going to use Drew, no, that's Drew's there. Drew's cool. Let's see. Okay. Tachyons are just some of my favorite shit in sci-fi. I love tachyons. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Near the confinement beam or tachyon particle array or some shit. Okay, so yeah, I guess, I don't know. I just kind of think that argument really is not a very good argument for God. If that was where they were going, and if that's like the last guy who was watching, then that's where they were going. They were going for argument for God, and they lost. It looks like we actually have some viewers over on TikTok. TikTok doesn't like me very much. I stream over there. It worked for a while, then it stopped working. They called me stupid head, and they banned me from streaming, and then they let me back on. And it's been so much less ever since. But hey, I'm glad to have you over there. Nice to join me. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, so they've got some crazy stuff going on, right? I mean, to come in here and make those kinds of things, and I hate to say something like that, but I didn't call the guy stupid at first, did I? No, I said that was a stupid question. That was a stupid question. I proved it wrong. I proved it. Did I not prove it? I proved it was a stupid question. All by myself, alone, and scared. Theoretically, just exactly the person you'd expect to have an answer for such a thing says, oh, not quarks. Indeed, electrons are regarded as distinct from quarks and are classified in a separate group of elementary particles called leptons. There you go. Leptons. There was a sci-fi show. I watched too much sci-fi. Mark says, any particle that contains a Higgs boson has mass. Higgs bosons impart mass. I guess they're all carbony like that. Skunks and junks. Shady China intelligence gathering machine. Jesse Bear says, this is not elementary school. No stupid questions. That's normally... Jesse, you're right. You're right. I should be a better person. 1,000 apologies. I should be a better person. The question was, though, indeed... And it was a flawed question. It was incorrect. There were premises in the question that were wrong. So I don't know that it'd be maybe a stupid question, but it was a flawed question. His question was, since E equals MC squared and electrons have no mass, doesn't that mean something? What's your thoughts on that? And that was going towards God, but electrons do have mass, and that was where his question was flawed. He just didn't like the answer. Good morning, Adam with 2 N's. Thank you for joining me. I always thought mass was a Catholic thing, right? These love handles don't maintain themselves. Takes effort. Drew Johnson says, any thoughts on drones swarming over New Jersey and New York City right now? I'm working in New York and it's making me feel uneasy. Now, I hadn't heard nothing about it, Drew. No. I wish they were aliens, though. That'd be more interesting. The real me says, I wasn't raised religious. I got older and tried religion and it didn't work out. I can say thank you to my mom for not putting me in church or forcing God on me. That's awesome, the real me. Thank you. Same here. My mom was pretty light when she was a believer. And the older she got, the less she believed. When she passed, she didn't want a ceremony. She wanted a barbecue. We had a barbecue. That way we could offer a pleasing scent to the Lord. That wasn't her intent, but I guess that works out that way. Oh, I see what you mean. No, Jesse says, I meant don't ask stupid questions. That question was stupid. Yeah. Yeah, I got you. That's wonderful. Yeah. Well, sometimes my peeps, my friends try to keep me from being too much of what, stereotypical angry atheist, but I am angry and I feel like we have reasons for being angry. That's like when they come in, they're like, why are you so ugly towards Christianity? I'm like, well, we're defending ourselves. We're not supposed to lay down and take it. Stand up and take it. It's probably Jesus spying. Yes, that's probably it. Through drones. That's how I would do it if I were Jesus. I think really as far as this question, I think the premise, oftentimes, and one of the things is, well, immediately I showed him, well, wait a second, your question is flawed. And rather than engage that at all in the beginning, he just completely avoided that and went on to arguing with me about my analysis rather than just taking his question or whatever. I don't know. But the more I pressed him on where he was trying to go with it, we've seen these questions before. It just took me a moment to catch up. Right now, with Christian fundamentalists trying to take over, we have to do that. That we have to, every right to be angry. That's right. Especially women. I mean, goodness gracious, women. And these people of color who voted for Trump, I fear that they will someday regret that. But then won't we all, won't we? Sandy says, I'd find something in your reel to be uneasy about, Drew, and ignore most clips as they are clickbait. Interesting. Oh, I don't know nothing about that. I'm not really sure, guys. Some things I miss on the chat, some things I catch, so bear with me. I haven't heard anything about drones. What kind of drones you're talking about? Lots of little four-winged flying drones that just can't really do shit? Or are you talking about like airplane-looking military type drones kind of thing? Yeah. Those are good questions, though. Level Devil Jr. watching us on TikTok like a stalker. Howdy. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Breakfast Tacos. What is your best formal argument for atheism? My best formal argument for atheism is that they haven't been able to prove theism. Got to prove theism first. Until you do, I don't have anything to do. My job is not that they have to prove their part first. That's my formal argument for atheism. Why do you believe in a God? Why do you believe in God? Did somebody tell you about God? I mean, surely you were told about God. There was a point in your life where whether you were a baby or whether you'd grown up where you've never believed in God or you believed in a God other than the God or some business like that. Why? I mean, convince me. Use something besides the Bible that says the Bible is real, but yet has no power to convince me of what you believe. We'll start with that. Don't Eat Bugs is a cool name. Says atheism was a way to control people. Really? Really? Christianity is all about control. Right now, they're trying to control women. They're trying to put their controls on women and abortion in our country. They're trying to put their control and their oppression on our children in schools, making our children say one name under God or one nation under God, putting their God on our money. Who's about control? You really are kind of ignorant if you think atheism is about control. Religion is about control, dude. It's a mind control game. The whole thing is a mind control scam. Right down from the whole don't question it, that whole business. How could you not know that? And to call atheism, I hope you're just kidding. Dude, maybe you're just kidding. Oh, because Albert Pike said so. Well, all right. Fuck me. Albert Pike said so. Dane. Good morning, Dane. I hope you and the puppies are doing great this morning. Thank you for calling in the other day. Yeah. It was an interesting call. I do agree. You didn't quite get to your point to where you were going. And I understand that. I do. Yeah. I feel you. I really did though. I mean, there was couple of things were going on. Kelly was trying to get some hard answers out of you. Not hard as they were difficult for you, but I mean, solid answers. And I was appreciating, well, a couple of things. One is the fact you're not like a regular monotheist. Just the fact that you're not telling me we're all going to hell. You're your own kind of thing. And I dig that. That's cool. But it's also kind of got this poetic thing about it that it's your own bag. It's your own belief. It's your own song you sing in your head. And I dig that. You're not imposing it on me. If you were imposing it on me and telling other people to do that, then we'd be having a discussion, but you're not. That was kind of the thing. And, I appreciated what was going on. Kelly doesn't know you, and, Kelly, like you saw, he got caught on that one little thing at the beginning. And I get it. I understand you were speaking metaphorically. But hey, that's cool. Continue to call in. Stay good out there. Stay awesome. We're good. Let me catch up on my chat. I really wish this chat would not do that. Maybe if I read it up here for now, I can read what you guys are saying. There we go. Yes and no. It's going to take its own time. Anyway, I appreciate you, but I appreciate you all. So for those of you who are unaware, I did a thing, and last Friday, I was on Truth Wanted. It was a really good experience. I had a lot of fun. Kelly was very gracious being the host, and he took all the technical aspects of it. He did all the stuff. I got to sit there and have fun and argue and point at people. I got to point at the camera. I got to go, you know me, guys, you know how I like to go, so you are so important that God loves you. Out of all the people in this whole world, God loves you. How narcissistic could you possibly be? And I love doing that. I get all tingly. Skunks and Junk. That's a cool name. I have my own anxiety medicine that I deal with. It does kind of hurt my memory. But there we go. Kelly is amazing. Yeah, Kelly. I'm glad. Yeah, Kelly was so much fun. And then I'm looking forward to getting on these other shows. And I saw that, because you like what you know, and so one day I hope to soon get on Talk Heathen, and it would be nice to get over there with Kelly because he's familiar. If I think he does pop over to different shows, and be nice to work with him again. I really enjoyed working with him. I'd have him on the morning show if he was willing. It just takes effort. I don't mind the effort. It's just that when it works, it works. When it don't, it don't. Good morning. Richard Matson, how are you doing today? Richard says, poll assumed Christian reading frame and text actually describes how Christ Jesus will be without family commitments. Yeah, I guess so. I guess it does. Yeah. Dragons of Genesis, Drew Johnson, they probably don't know who they belong to unless they can intercept one and manage to track it to the person who is operating it. Oh, yeah. Talking about the drone still? Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on over there, but I would be concerned just based on the craziness that goes on in the world. But then just based on the craziness that goes on in the world, I don't know that I would live in New York. Just saying. But some people don't have a choice. You know what I mean? They don't have a choice. What I would like to do, though, so we've been going on this whole deal. The poll question, though, is really, here's the deal, Richard. The poll question about the whole thing. Is it mercy or is it a trap? Either, here's my thinking, bear with me, you probably weren't here. Either the potion they made causes abortions or it doesn't. It could not possibly know whether the father was the real father or someone else. The potion they made back then could not possibly in any way know. So, if they had a recipe and it worked, then every time it worked, unless, barring, occasion, some women wouldn't, you know what I mean? Some medicine doesn't work. But if it didn't work, then every time it wouldn't work. And by that notion, and if it did work and the woman did miscarry, it's a death sentence for the woman in the Old Testament. That's the point of the question. And if that is the framework, you nailed the framework, exactly what the framework is supposed to be. There is no other framework that you could see that from. Why would you even try to see it through some other kind of framework? Oh, well, Hindu or whatever. I'm not trying to be pedantic here. I just don't understand where you're going with why you'd see it through any other frame than what we see it through, than what it literally says it is. But yeah, peace and respect, though. Good morning. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope your sports ball team won if you're into that sort of thing. The real me, cool. Yeah, Richard is cool. Some people don't like Richard. I don't know. Some people don't like some people. Some people don't like me, and I have no idea why, because I'm just a funny sumbitch is what I am. Good morning, Ace Trades. Thank you for joining us. Spooky Bed Hair is here. It's just the words go by so fast. There you are. Does God have a mass? Does God have mass? Asking for a friend. Well, that's a good question. Asking for a friend. That's funny. Does God have mass? Well, no, he doesn't. These kids are so much fun. All right, give me just a second here. Me. I have a new one coming too, by the way. We know this one. For the new kids in town.
Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. What the? I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and I'll be your handsome host, your gilded guide, your cowboy concierge of Shakespeare. Dude, really? Today on Shakespeare with a Redneck, I'm going to perform the prologue from Romeo and Juliet. Damn it, Bill. Two households, both alike in dignity in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Hey, that wasn't half bad. I'm not as dumb as I look. Of course not. You'd be in a coma. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, two snot-nosed brats ignore the warnings of their learned parents and end up getting 4 people killed. Bill, come on, man, you're always blah, blah, atheist stuff, blah, blah, boring. Say something fun, for goodness sake. What? Particle is a fun word. Bill, particle. Bill, or talk about horses and dogs. People love horses and dogs. Or boobies. Everybody loves boobies. Bill, oh, can I say boobies on YouTube? If you close your eyes, it doesn't count. Talk about boobies then. Okay, everybody loves those cute little blue-footed bastards. It hurts right here. Culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid bringing a plague on both your houses. A plague on both your houses! By hitting that subscribe button, then that little notification bell. And bang that thumbs up button like frisky cousins at a family reunion. Thank you and take care.
Peace. All right. That was fun for the whole family. Especially if you like boobies. I'm a fan. So there was an interesting question posed here in the chat. I liked it. I want to go back to it. Thank you for the nice accent comment. Ways to Human. I appreciate it. You have a pretty cool accent yourself, if I remember correctly. Drew Johnson asked, just as a fun hypothetical, if aliens touched down and started spreading new intergalactic religions, what would your first move be? Well, I think it'd probably be no different than my current move. I would want proof and evidence. Proof and evidence. They'd have to convince me. Now, one of the things is like, if they popped up with text that said that like 2,000 years ago, a prophet came to their world and his name was Jesus and he said these certain things and they lined up with things that, that would be some compelling evidence. If they could prove that, I mean, like they're aliens, they would have like, maybe they had video evidence of him back there healing people back in the day. I'm like, oh, look, he looks like a homeless hippie on another planet. So what would, theoretically says if aliens spread new religions, would that render Scientology correct? That's a fascinating question. But then God would have to be an extraterrestrial. You can't have made the cookie and also come from the cookie. That's nonsensical, right? But then religion, right? That's what we're talking. Gile, I saw what you said earlier about getting used to alien tail. And I have to say, depending, of course, obviously on the physiology of the situation, I too would at least be curious. I would like, does it have an any? Do they have alien porn? I mean, we have alien porn and we haven't even proven they're real. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Gile. Yeah. Alien boobies. Let's see here. Theoretically, God would even try Christian standard. Oh yeah, God would even by Christian standard be extra. God, yeah, God would. I guess God would, by everybody's standards, would have to be extraterrestrial. He created the earth. Alien genital odor is a factor also. You'd have to wonder about that, yeah. Yeah. I mean, be like, girl, you need a wash or something. Have you heard of Massengill for aliens? Assengill. To clean their ass and their gills. I'd kill me. That's funny stuff. Nicole Spartan 458 says, as long as the aliens look like Garrus Vakarian from Mass Effect, that alien dude makes any woman swoon. I tell you, Garrus was a hottie. Ass and gill. I'm funny, son bitch. I tried to warn you. I hope you weren't drinking coffee. His messenger says, God is speaking to the entire world right now. The problem is that everyone isn't listening. Well, really, then, how powerful could his voice be if we're not listening? How important could his message be if we're not hearing it? How true could his word be if we don't believe it? But fortunately for you, his messenger, fortunately for you, you are special. God loves you. You found the right true way. I appreciate it whenever all those people who've found the right true way show up. And no one else has found the right true way. That's amazing. And here is his messenger. Thank you, Sandy. Well, yeah. Baseless assertions, his messenger. Yeah. You're blocking his voice. Do you see how his messenger says we are blocking, or at least I don't know if he means me or us, says you're blocking his voice out of your life. How can that be? How can that be? This is the same God that created everything. This is the same God that created language and everything. And yet, I don't hear his message. His message isn't compelling enough. His message of love me or burn in hell for an eternity is not compelling enough. Just sway me. Maybe you should reconsider your thinking, your beliefs. Maybe you should ask yourself if those things that you believe are really make sense or not. That atheist might be onto something. Ruh-roh. I don't want to hear him. He's going to respect that. Really? God doesn't respect nothing. Have you read the Bible? He's going to respect our wishes until he burns us in hell forever. Jesus' whole message was to spread the word. Why would Jesus have to spread the word? Why would he have to tell people to spread the word if the word was the truth and the way and the light? Why isn't it in English? Why don't you go pick up a Bible and it's in a universal language that everybody can understand? Because God wrote the Bible. God influenced the writing of the Bible. Why isn't it understandable and legible? Man, you should think these things through. Left-handed Jedi, is God's message AM or FM? It's AM. If you go under a bridge, it goes and then it starts coming back in. His messenger says it's in English. I beg to differ. You couldn't read the original text. Go read the original text. JT, LMFAO, the very notion that your God respects the wishes of man. Again, follow me or burn in hell. That's not a choice, people. That's not a choice. The messenger reveals. Are you guys like together? His messenger and the messenger. The messenger reveals, says, I always find it fascinating when atheists use the Bible that they don't believe in to argue against Christianity. Why? Why do you find that fascinating? It's the only book that even says Jesus existed at all, outside of like some additions. Go look it up. They were additions to the writings of Josephus. But outside of that, there's no book of Jesus at all. And really part of the deal is why we like the Old Testament, or why we like the Bible, is because it proves how horrific in nature your God is. Nope. Spooky hit John. Let's see. Did John Ace Trades? I'm just catching up on our chat. I think it's interesting though that we do have a couple of believers in the chat today, which is good. I always like it when there's good. So many gods to pick from, says Jesse Bear. Which god do y'all talking about? And why not a goddess? First of all, I want to say, Jesse Bear, I used to think it was cute that people wanted God to be a woman. Never again for me. Never again. No woman has taken part in the hideousness that is of that religion, and I don't think that women should be vilified by being called a god. Now, a goddess, like a goddess, kind of, you know what I mean, goddess, like a lower class goddess. That's kind of a thing. I got one of those. She runs around the house all the time. I swat her on the butt when she walks by. But like God, to the creator of all things that are hideous and ugly, nah, that's a man. It's got to be a man. Left-handed Jedi, the Bible, that hot steaming mess of dumpster fire, seriously? Truth. Iconoclast, it's the only information on Christianity is in the Bible. I can't believe that Christians think God wrote a book but don't actually read it. No doubt. And even if they did, I'm gonna go on a series on Christianity, on Jesus. And there's this notion, they're like, would Jesus do this? Or why would Jesus let people live? How many people, all right, fine. Jesus cured blind people. How many people did he not cure? How many did he refuse to cure? How many times did Jesus do things that were really questionable, that they don't talk about? They just don't talk about. It takes an examination by an outside eye. And I'm going to be that eye. I don't know why I have a hard time saying that. Richard Madsen says, there are gods and goddesses in the Song of Solomon. And that may be, but that doesn't, that's their own thing. God actually said, worship no other gods. Of course, we all know there was a whole bunch of gods. There's a whole pantheon, if you will. Is that a word, or did I just make that up? No, I didn't make it up. There was a whole pantheon of them. So, not surprised that they would acknowledge more than one. Not surprised at all. Surprised it took them that long. Once you think about paganism, the interesting thing about paganism is you can really see the roots of Christianity in a lot of their traits. Thank you, Torsten Pill, for subscribing. Thank you, Torsten. Nice to have you. I appreciate that. A compilation of 66 minimum books with likely just as many authors translated multiple times filled with contradiction factual. Oh, I love the contradiction thing. Do you want to see the contradiction thing? Ways the Human probably does not want to see this. Oh, I love this. Isn't this beautiful? These are all the Bible contradictions. I'll post a link to the website for you to go ignore. Christians. Yeah, Christians using facts. That's funny. That's hilarious. There's a link, if you will, Messenger Reveals. Please go to that website and look at all of the contradictions. Now, if you want to continue further and do studies and examine your hate faith, why does the man call it a hate faith? Well, here are some scientific absurdities and historical inaccuracy, cruelty, and violence. Look at all of that. Look at it. This is the Old Testament over here. This is the New Testament over here. So likewise, this is the New Testament, cruelty and violence, cruelty and violence, cruelty and violence. Oh, look at that. New Testament, lots of cruelty and violence. Misogyny against women, the Bible doesn't. Oh, but wait, it does. Over and over and over. Look at all these examples. Do you need examples of discrimination against homosexuals in the Old and New Testaments? Do you need those examples? We've got those examples here for you, my friend. Let's look. Interesting poll data. Here's some skeptics' contradictions. I mean, this is just a wealth of that K word. Don't say the K word in front of the Christians. Knowledge. It's a wealth of knowledge. I really think it's hilarious when you guys throw around the word facts, so that's funny. Shackle Breakers Reloaded 1. What a cool name. How come these Christians don't believe in Allah, yet 250 million from the Middle East do? Exactly right. I mean, if it's a numbers game, they're losing, I think. You would think the one true God would have. That's another thing. They often taught me things like, how come Christian high school teams don't win every game? Now, you have to admit, both sides probably have Christians in the stands. True enough. But one side is specifically a Christian team. Their school is named after some Virgin of Mary or some business like that. They all gather around and they all pray for the power of God to win their games. Why don't they win their games? Why don't they win every time? Even if they don't pray, they should be anointed and blessed, and they should walk through life and win every game. But they don't. Nope. No power there. There's no power. No power there. I was talking to you, Messenger Reveals. No power there. Messenger Reveals at Theo, the projection, the hypocrisy and the projection by these people is just staggering. Let me read this to you. The theist says to the atheist, probably with a straight face and everything, Theo, I said you were programmed by the authority figures that raised you. Which is exactly what happened to this guy here, the Messenger Reveals. He was programmed. As a matter of fact, Theo was deprogrammed, unprogrammed if he ever was a believer. He was deprogrammed. You're the one that's a program. You're the one that's convinced to believe in something that isn't true, that you cannot prove. You can't prove it. If you could, you would have. If you could, somebody else would have long before now, and they would have had that proof all over the world, and your God would be known to be the one true God, but it's not. Can't even get your prophets straight. So, and it's all, it's been the one true God, the Word of God. The Bible has been around, the New Testament has been around for 2,000 years. The Old Testament's been around longer. And we have examples, 2,000 years of examples of how people who follow this nonsense act. They hurt, they murder, they unalive other people en masse, unending. You'll come at me, Christians will come at me, what about Stalin? He was not an atheist, by the way. He's more of a, thought himself as a deity. What about Mao? Same. They didn't walk around carrying flags that said, atheism is my banner. They did not do that. If they were against various churches or whatever, that was for political reasons, so they could gain power. Nothing to do with faith. Pol Pot may have been an atheist, but that was not what his banner was about. He was just a shitty person. We got shitty people. Yet, 2,000 years, we have people, armies marching under the banner of this God, fighting each other. I mean, was the Catholic Reformation back in the 15 or 1600s? Starting with that, of course, obviously going before that, there was Christians, unaliving Christians before that, but starting with that, it really got ugly whenever you had the Catholic Reformation and the Calvinists and all that. I mean, millions, literally millions of people unalived for things as simple as this people don't think you should have pictures of God in church or pictures at all in church. And they were killing each other for things just like that. Millions and millions of people. And they come in here saying atheism is bad. We are programming people. That's a bunch of nonsense right there is what it is. Guitar Dog, good morning. Thank you for joining us. They were atheists, but they were also religious. You know, there are those people out there. That's actually an interesting topic, those who were atheists. Sometimes an atheist or a theist, a Christian, will come in here and they will say, you just hate God. You're mad at God. And that's what's going on. Now, we know that's not the case. We're not mad at God. We've even joked about having that as a... My hair all fuck it up? It sure is. That's sexy right there. Look at that. Anyway, we have it... Damn, I got all distracted. Oh, goodness. You guys are going on over there about yourselves. Brooklyn Lou, the skeptic. Christians go to any extent to shut their minds off to anything that challenges their belief. They make a vow to themselves not to doubt God. That's a good point. Bronze Age comic book. Shackle Breakers Reloaded. Thank you for throwing out that out there. Well, all right, so here's the messenger reveals. Asks, Chris Mallard, you're trying to convince people that believing in God is bad. What's the difference between you and Christians? Well, because mine is ethical. I mean, we have skeptical humanism, and it's not a movement that goes around killing people. Dude, look at your religion. It has gone around killing people. Right now, your religion right now is forcing itself on women in America. Women are dying in hospital parking lots. It has happened. Women are dying in hospitals where they go from hospital to hospital to hospital and can't get care because of the Christian oppression that's being put on them. That's the difference. You don't see that with us. You don't see atheists and skeptics and humanists going around imposing that kind of religious nonsense on other people to hurt them. You know what I mean? That's what we're talking about. And whenever we talk about like equal rights for people, Christians see that as being bad. We're talking about equal rights for gay and lesbians and trans people. Christians don't think they should have that. They want to impose their rules on other people and their beliefs on other people. And they can't prove none of it exists or none of it's true or none of it's real. It's just power and control. The Crusades were religious wars. They all were. Now, see, at the Crusades, the reason why I didn't actually kind of mention the Crusades, which would technically fill the, from the 700s to about the 1200s or 1300s, the reason why I didn't mention those is because those were actually against Muslims, mostly. Jews, Muslims. But yeah, if you want to count that too, Christians unalived, I was really kind of talking about Christians just fighting Christians in the millions. Christians just fighting Christians. Not counting the Christians fighting Muslims, Muslims fighting Muslims, Jews fighting Christians, Jews fighting Muslims, Muslims fighting Christians, Muslims, you know what I mean? Not counting all that. Well, so where is how can you even argue you get morality from God or any of that business? Look at the example of what you get. 2,000 years of Christians unaliving people en masse. You cannot even compare atheists to that. You're saying that's hyperbolic. How is it hyperbolic, dude? We are literally talking millions and millions of lives. How many people? Let's look at how many people. Just the Catholic Reformation. All right, stop. Just give me freaking numbers here. Don't give me a history lesson. Just give me numbers. And you can go look this up yourself. Messenger reveals. Just go look it up yourself. Spanish Inquisition estimated 32,000 to 150,000 executed. French wars of religion, 2 to 4 million deaths. 30 Years' War, 4 to 8 million deaths, not solely Catholic driven, but influenced by the Counter-Reformation. Massacres and persecutions. I mean, it goes on, dude. There's no hyperbole about how much unaliving and how shitty your religion is. Yeah, how violent it is. And the problem is I get striked or smacked on the hand for calling it a shitty religion. And yet the examples, how many people are being oppressed by your religion in our country alone? And that's not even counting what happens over in the Middle East with Islam and that business over there. We don't talk about that because we got our own business going on here. So you come in here and you talk about atheism is a method of control. That's unfortunate that you would think that. Brooklyn Lou the Skeptic, that's a cool name, Brooklyn. Thank you for joining us. If a person has to get morality from God, they do not have any morals of their own. And you never see, how often do you ever see any Christian, any Christian, do you go, oh shit, here's a moral dilemma in my life, and they go to their Bible right then and look for something. Right there, some kind of instructions on how to deal with it. Do you see that? I don't ever see it. Oh, wow. The world is violent. Why is the world violent, dude? That's never going to change. If you don't like the laws of the area you live in, then move where people share your values, morals, and beliefs. That's not even an answer. John the Baptist says, Jesus Christ is all of your Savior. He loves you guys. Relax and repent. Put away your sinful mindsets that blind you. Interesting, John. Let me ask you, what happens if we don't? If we don't accept Jesus, what happens to us? What does your merciful, loving God do? Please detail it in the chat for me. How long does this punishment last? And Diana Gold says, humans are violent apes. That's great. I mean, when you look at it, what we are, how we evolved in our circumstances and where we come from, yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense is where we're headed. Whenever you look about it as though we're created by a God for a certain purpose and that God is supposed to be moral, that's when it all starts to break down. The world. All right, so I don't get what your point is here. Messenger reveals the world is a dangerous place, but we're talking about what God does. Yeah, and that's the whole. Yep. I'm just catching up in the chat, guys. A little busy. That's awesome. Good morning, Maya. Thank you for joining us. I always prefer timing them out over blocking them for a couple of reasons. Mainly because it pisses them off. It bothers them. It gets in their brain. They have to sit there and watch the chat for, however long, and they can't respond, and, it pisses them off. Bum. Messenger reveals, says Chris Mallard, my guess is you're a former Christian. When did you deconvert? Well, you're right. I am a former Christian. That's how I know so much about the religion. Would you like to watch my video series on how your God is a pit demon? Or would you like to watch the video series on how you're part of a blood cult? And you can tell I'm an ex-Christian because I know stuff about the religion. When did I deconvert? Probably around 2007, 2008, fully. I've kind of been on the fence for a while, but no, see, that's the deal. Messenger reveals. I see. Some people would just leave, but oftentimes, some of them have a point to make. If they leave, they leave. If somebody that I respect and like their opinion, and because oftentimes I can't keep up with the chat. If they kick you out of the chat, I trust them. You probably said something that required that kind of action. Occasionally not, but it happens. I do again ask my people to use the timer out more than pump. And now I'm mad at God. That's where I was going earlier, my friends. Okay, that was it. That's where I was going. I lost my train of thought. Let me write that down just in case. Mad at God. Okay, so that's the whole deal. Some Christians come along and they think because we're atheists, we're mad at God. I don't believe in God. I'm not mad at God. I get mad at the actions of his followers, but I don't get mad at God. I don't believe in God. But there are Christians out there, friends. There are Christians who become dissuaded from their religion. They do get mad at God. They really are, and they leave the faith and they say, I'm an atheist. They claim they don't believe in God anymore. They're an atheist. But in reality, they really are just mad at God, and they're waiting for God to shine his light on them, make their life better so they can turn back to God and be okay and become no longer an atheist. Those people really exist. And one of my stories about deconverting involves one of those people. I had a friend, I still have him. His name is Mike. Mike, if you're watching, you'll know which story we're talking about. I was a Christian. My other friend, Tony, was a Christian. Mike was life had gone down. His electricity had been turned off. He didn't have a job. His mom was suffering, and he was in a bind, and he was mad at God. He was becoming an atheist because he was mad at God. And that's why. So I can see why some atheists or Christians will come in here, and that's what they may think, because that does really happen. And then me and my friend, Tony, we had a nice long talk with Mike. We threw the Pascal's wager at him, convinced him, it's better to believe than not to believe, or else, the bad. And then I went and turned on his electricity, and Tony gave him a job, and his life got all better, and he became a believer. But he was always a believer. He didn't really not believe in God. He was just mad at God. And as soon as God shined his light upon him, he went back to believing in God. So whenever you ask questions like, when did I start hating God? I understand that's a legitimate question from your perspective. You might see that in some of your fellow Christians, and that may seem that's how it is, but I'm not mad at God. I don't believe in God. I'm not mad at the Tooth Fairy. I'm not mad at any of those. I'm not mad at Iron Man. I'm not mad at Superman. None of those things. Now, I might not like those characters based on the story, but I don't hate them. I don't believe, you know what I mean? So this notion that I hate your God, that God did me wrong, God ain't done nothing. God doesn't exist. It's God's followers that do things wrong. I hope you can understand that. The messenger reveals, Brooklyn, I'm quite sure you have not heard my message of truth. Dude, if you turn out to be Joey, I'm going to be pissed. Diana Gold says, don't blame the human, hate the religion. So true. Skunks and Junk, Guitar Dog, religious folks who push this on the public, especially children, suck. Exactly right. That's kind of what we're talking about here. Nicole Spartan 458 says, there is a difference between an atheist and a miso-atheist. Chris is an atheist. Okay. And he is awesome and more moral than any of you Christians. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think so. The deal about Christianity, especially depending on which Christian branch you're talking about, they obviously can do any horrific thing, hit a knee, ask for forgiveness, and walk away, and they're good. They can do any hideous thing. They can lie to you to your face. We see that a lot from Christianity. They come in our chat here and they lie about things. What was that guy? What was he going to ask me about? He's going to hit me up with, well, since there's no mass and electron, that means God exists somehow. That's where it was going. But as soon as I called him out on it, no, he started his little Christian lying bullshit. And, we pressed it and he went on about himself. So, yeah, that kind of business. The messenger reveals, says, Chris Mallard, you are not being honest. You do despise the evil God monster of the Bible, thus always vilifying God. It's interesting. I find that interesting. Are you telepathic or empathetic? How did you assert this? I mean, you know me so well, like I don't even know myself. See, here's really what the deal is. And I know you probably won't understand this, my friend. But the deal is that the actors who do, the people who follow this belief of yours, do horrible things all the time. And my job is to speak up about those things. And the way I do it is in my own way, is to show believers like yourself how ridiculous the text is and how horrific the actions of their God are. And that's why I go around going, look how bad your God is. Look how mean it is. It doesn't mean I believe in your God, brother. Please try to separate that in your mind. It doesn't mean I believe in your God. It means I'm trying to show you and your fellow believers how ridiculous the text is and how horrific the actions are of that creature in that text. Is that, did I make that simple enough for you to understand? Or do you just want to insist that you know me well enough to think that I hate God? God ain't never done nothing for or against me. I mean, why would I hate something that doesn't exist? I'm just curious, you know. I mean, I don't really get this notion that God, we hate God. No, but I do. No, I take that back. Retraction. I do get where that notion comes from, as explained. I understand. There really are Christians out there who are angry at God. They're mad at God. Their life sucks for whatever reason. Not God's fault, not their fault, probably, maybe their fault. Stupid people get stupid actions. But their life is going downhill for whatever reason. The lover they want is not responding the way they want. Their child is acting out. The rash won't go away, whatever. Yeah. Maya says that the messenger reveals you keep doing it and getting the same results. Is it working for you? They may think so. I've kind of seen this before. It's sort of like the truth guy that comes in with the truth argument all the time, no matter what. There's no. And then this circular argument that they keep throwing out. I don't know. Diana's pretty sharp. Got to watch her. She's sharp. Shackle Breakers Reloaded 1 says it's obvious he's scared, Chris. Yes, I'm clearly quaking in my boots. I'll have to go change my diapers soon. That's what remember Joey that one time? He just kept on arguing about truth or was trying to force me. I was like, fine, dude, whatever you want. What do you want? Fine, truth is whatever you want. What's your point now? And then he started crowing around, yay, Chris Mallard admitted what I wanted. I won, Chris Mallard. Do you remember that? I was like, dude, really? Fucking Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Very good points there. I see you all. Messenger reveals says, what result do you seek? I'm guessing you really don't know. See, you really do that a lot, don't you? You presume a lot what other people think and feel. Okay. I get you. Is it working? How's it working out for you? Kind of look like an idiot. I'm not calling you an idiot. I just said it was like a resemblance. YouTube moderators, I didn't call him nothing. I just said you resembled one. That's all. That's his thing. Yeah, it's sort of like Joey. I wonder if it's the same guy and just puts on a different hat to remind him. Like, does one hat stick him on this side of the head? JT says, Chris Mallard, Joey definition of truth was that which comports to the mind of Jesus. Yeah, you just couldn't get away with that. I got tired of it. And that's what I do. I got tired of it, and I was like, man, I'll entertain you for a little while, but dude, move on. Bring something else, right? You guys remember I was told him, bring something else. And for like a week, he kept on with the whole truth thing and just wouldn't drop it. So I was done with him. I'm done with him. John Manacara. I hope I said that right. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let me see here. Chris, did you read the message Maya said that I responded to? Yeah, I thought I even read that back out. Didn't I ask you keep doing it and it keeps getting the same result, right? Thank you for... Oh, it went away. Let me come down here and see what it said. Left-Handed Jedi says, if God has a plan, why pray? What's the point? Thank you for the $2 super chat, Left-Handed Jedi. You just tested me, weren't you? Guitar Dog. Oh, wow. Guitar Dog has super chatted $10. Thank you, Guitar Dog, for hooking me up. Says, more people have left the church in the last 25 years than all the new people who became Christians from the first Great Awakening, the second Great Awakening, Billy Graham crusades combined. That's by the Great De-Churching. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Guitar Dog, you're my hero. Appreciate you. And Left-Handed Jedi, you're wonderful. That's a good point. I like that. I like that one. I'll probably even do a video on it about the whole, if God has a plan, why pray? What's the point? I mean, if he knows the beginning from the end, why do anything? Why don't you trust him? Why do you Christians look both ways before you cross the street? Where's your trust in God? You don't have faith. That's the problem. What did you do to the other messenger? Yeah, we had a couple of messengers in here. Messenger reveals, I didn't really notice what she said to you. I'm not sure. I saw something. Let's see here if my chat's even scrolling. It may have stopped. Sorry about that. It does that from time to time. I don't know what she said to you, brother, but you probably deserved it. Here she says, the messenger reveals, unlike some people, I don't pretend to assume what others are thinking. Hence the question. I think maybe that's it. I don't know. I get you. Anyway, guys, you have been wonderful. This has been a fun day. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you get a chance, go watch that Talk Heathen. It was fun. I had a great time. We got to enjoy and engage with these people. It was good fun. Hopefully they'll have me back on either the Talk Heathen, not Talk Heathen. Truth Wanted. It was Truth Wanted. I keep saying Talk. Hopefully they'll have me back on Talk Heathen or Atheist Experience or one of the others. And I'm going to reach out once again to the line and see if they got room for an atheist like me on their show. I think you guys would enjoy seeing me engage with Christians on the line, right? I think you would. Yeah, my chat has clearly stopped, guys. I'm actually going to have to go read it afterwards because what I see has stopped. But that's okay. We're done with the show for today. I very much appreciate you. I've got a video going out there, guys, if you want to check it out. Let's go here to the dashboard. It is the episode 13 of the Evil God Monster of Abraham series. Let me post that for you. We've gotten up to 2,805 subscribers today, guys. We blew that away. So we hit 2,800 and we went right on through it. So thank you all. Let me come over here and I will post a link to, where is Pourquoi? Oh. Refresh yonder page. And there. And go. Christianity's Shame, episode 13. So I'm going to give you all a link. If you don't mind, get over there and give it a watch. I think you will enjoy it. And at the end of it, there's a link back to the first episode. So if you want to watch Startup from the beginning. Guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. We will see you tomorrow. Sin safely, my friends. Take care. Thank you, and have a great day.